All right, welcome to the Watkins Glen International Speedway for the Hardee Cup Series race number 3. My name is Justin Wilkes. My broadcast partner is Eli McDonald. We got some cars on track. We're qualifying. We're going to take a look at Alex to see if he can better his second place practice position here. Look for him to be pretty strong. We know he's a good road racer. As we are underway at practice or qualifying here. We'll see what Alex can lay down. And for those watching, this is the new remodeled and refreshed Watkins Glen. So a little bit different curbing, artwork's different. The bus stop is the biggest change that the drivers will face. There is no curbs on the entrance to the bus stop. So drivers can dive that corner a little bit deeper, a little bit harder, but it will allow them to overshoot if they don't hit it very well. Alex is green for his first lap of qualifying. Looks like we got James Jones in that beautiful 76 car with a new livery on this week. See if he can better his ninth place practice result here in qualifying. Yeah, there's the example of the curbs as we were talking about. Very violent curbs in the bus stop here at Watkins Glen. As we got Jeffrey Peppers going through the bus stop, rocking the Amazon Prime paint scheme once again. See what he can lay down. Lap 1 for these drivers. As we got Dustin Hardee switching manufacturers on us this week, driving the Chevy again. Good to see him back behind the wheel of a bow tie. Alex goes P1 in qualifying. We'll see what these guys can do if they can track Alex down with his lap. So we watch Dustin Hardee go through the bus stop here. Jeffrey Peppers slots in second position thus far. Beautiful looking paint scheme for Dustin Hardee. See what he can do in his qualifying run here. This track is hot and greasy this afternoon here at Watkins Glen. No chance of rain, so that's good for these drivers. As Alex going to take his second lap to see if he can better his first lap. Dustin Hardee slots in P3. And Alex will still keep that number 1 qualifying position. Excuse me. As Jones slots in for 4th for his second lap by. Good run for him.
Yeah, right now Alex is up by 3 seconds over second.
As Peppers goes up to second. Holy cow, good run for him for this qualifying session. So look for him to be a strong contender. Let's see if Hardee can better that third place spot. Eli, I was letting everybody at home know about the new updates to Watkins Glen. You and me both put a couple laps in here before the races. Dustin gets a little loose, but he gathers it up into turn 7. What did you feel on track with the new updates here at iRacing with the handling and track physics?
I would say the main thing is just you got to use way more braking input. You might see these drivers braking earlier than they have usually had before. That's just from my personal experience. Obviously, they might be thinking different things. but it just seems like you got to use way more brake pedal.
Yeah, absolutely. As it looks like the rest of the field decides not to qualify. So we'll do a rundown here. Eli, go ahead and give us a rundown.
Yeah, we had 4 cars that took a lap of qualifying. That'll be Alex and Dustin will be on your front row. Then you have Jeffrey Peppers, James Jones, row 2. And then drivers that did not qualify, Xavier, really fast in practice. Keep an eye on him from the 7th spot. Actually, Frank Skimmerhorn will be in the 5th spot. Actually, we'll see how this all shovels out. But as of now, Frank will be in the 5th spot. Looks like Xavier may move up to the 6th spot. Then it'll be Waylon Nelson and Jeffrey Herrick. But keep an eye on Xavier to move up through the field.
Yeah, we got 5 cars gridded out of 9. Still waiting on 4 cars to, well, 3 cars to hit the green. So a small turnout here at Watkins Glen, but honestly, given the new updates here, I don't think that's a bad thing to have a smaller field.
Yeah, it'll definitely space out a little bit, but uh, it'll be a good race throughout as we've seen throughout this season so far. Sometimes we'll tend to have smaller fields, but that almost leads to the better on-track action.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to give a huge shout out to Dustin once again this week for making this all possible. As we still are waiting on the rest of the field to grid up, but he unfortunately, didn't have, should I say, a fun time last week covering the race with us. But we look forward to seeing him on track. And Eli, he's in a different manufacturer this week. So how does that play into a driver's mindset? You're comfortable in one car and now you're going to switch manufacturers. So what does that do from a driver's standpoint?
Yeah, it's one of those very minute things. These cars are almost identical, but there are very minor differences in the Cup cars from manufacturer to manufacturer. You'll notice it more like if you run the Xfinity cars. The difference from manufacturer to manufacturer not as noticeable in the Cup cars, but still definitely some minor tweaks that he'll have to get adjusted to in that Camaro.
Yeah, absolutely. And unfortunate, doesn't look like we got the other 3 cars gridding up. So it looks like it's going to be a 5-car battle. Eli, do you see any cars still sitting on pit road or gotten word from any other drivers that looks like Xavier didn't make the start, Waylon didn't make the start, and Jeffrey Herrick didn't make the start. So any news on what's going on?
I'm not sure about Xavier or Waylon. But I would almost wonder if Jeff and Frank might be more comfortable and choosing to start from the pit lane potentially, just trying to avoid the chaos in a turn one that could happen.
Yeah, absolutely. You bring that into, yeah, that turn one is, we've seen it time and time again, is catastrophic for a lot of drivers for whatever reason. It's just a hard 90-degree right-hand corner. And yeah, you see a lot of people block it up, a lot of people going wide. Um, they did widen the
Yeah,
track limits, so that's good for these drivers, allowing the cars to, sweep out on the exit of one, which is what these cars need because they don't like to stay tight on a tight track. They like to wash out. So look for that as well.
I actually am mistaken. Frank did make the grid in time, but just like you were talking about, just get into turn one, lap one, especially. Just the drivers know that is so important for the layout of the rest of this race. So a lot of times you'll see drivers getting all they can into that first turn. Like you said, it takes you have to use a lot of that brake pedal into turn one. So we'll see how chaotic or maybe lack thereof here at the start of the race.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be interesting seeing what these drivers can do with the relatively slick track conditions here. As we're gonna dive on the pit road, the pace car, we're gonna go green.
Green flag, green flag.
We are green here at Watkins Glen for the Hardee Cup Series. Alex gets a good jump. As we're gonna see the turn one right here, see how the drivers manipulate. Ooh, Alex, this is what we were saying. Perfect example, Eli. These cold tires, turn one. You can see how wide the drivers went. Him and Jones went wide. Yeah, it gives Hardy the advantage.
Yeah, Hardy being able to sneak up in there. He was talking last week about how he was really excited to come to the road course this week at Watkins Glen, and we're seeing that immediately here as he takes the lead and takes advantage of Alex's mistake here on lap
Absolutely,
one.
but don't look now. Alex is going to be beating himself up. He wants that lead back. You know he likes to lead these things, and he's a road course racer, so you know it's going to be a battle with these two. And it's going to be fun to see what these drivers can do, and hopefully, with a small field, Eli, looks like only 5 drivers are going to be competing here today. So hopefully, we get some pretty clean runs this week. Oh, caution on the speedway. Our first caution before we hit the end of lap one. I don't see any cars with damage at all, Eli. Everybody's still running and fenders intact.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused exactly what those for. See if we can get a word from Dustin. It looks like Jeff just made it back, so good to see him. Hopefully, being able to be back in the race. Not exactly sure what that caution was for. Like I said, we may get word from Dustin what that was for exactly, but just have to wait and see on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. That was everybody was battling hard. So um, unless he threw it to give to re-rack the start, not too sure there. So we'll wait on word from the boss man himself. That beautiful M2 pace car leading the field today as well. So nice to see the GT2 style pace car out here. This is going to be interesting, Eli, with very few cars. It should be very close racing. Um, yeah, definitely will allow these guys that needed points to definitely get a huge point advantage with, only half the field showing up to race. Um, we look to hopefully see Herrick on track here momentarily as he's getting ready to strap back into the rig and race with us. So look forward to seeing him back out on track. One thing I want to point
Yeah,
out, one thing I want to point out here about Watkins Glen is the temperature and what the temperature does to the track surface here. You would think it lays down a lot of rubber with how hot it is, and it's actually the opposite. It gets really oily and really slick, so you really got to be precise on your controls, and inputs. So, unlike like a Dover, which is a concrete track, as we can see 3 cars diving on the pit lane to do some fuel strategy early on here. Eli, lap 2 strategies are we got 3 in and 2 staying out. So this is gonna be interesting here. Once again, a fuel strategy race.
yeah, and Frank Skimmerhorn taking the advantage on that one, potentially move him up to the front row. But cautions here at a road course take forever, and that's got to be weighing on the drivers' minds. Just wanting to go racing, and they know, um, cautions allow a lot of fuel saving to, be able to save a lot of fuel, but compared to an oval, the cautions here last a lot longer with just how much bigger of a track road courses are compared to ovals.
Yeah, absolutely. And you made a good point as these laps are antagonizing under caution. Rolling around at 60 to 70 miles an hour. It takes a long time, and I know behind the wheel, it seems to take like an hour to get around here at these slow speeds. So yeah, these drivers are antsy and ready to get back to green as we see the rest of the pack catching up, heading in the bus stop, and yeah, we'll see what the top 2 can do here that stayed out. It's going to be interesting to see how Frank manages being on the front row. Good to see him out here on the front row. About time to see Frank Skimmerhorn battling for the lead here. Always exciting to see him out front. And we should be getting the one to go this time by. So we'll re-rack them and do this all over again, Eli.
Yeah, but going to be a very different restart here. Different front row. Well, Dustin's still in the front row, but we'll have Frank up here, and we'll see how long he's able to stay up here. He's not necessarily a road course guy, but we'll see how his skills come into play here at 18 car, and see how long he's able to stay up front.
Yep, and from what it sounds like is Frank Skimmerhorn might be going back to the 54 next week. We all know that's Frank's number, so he might be able to run his old number again as the 2 liters. And Alex goes back to pit road. Oh, do we have problems with Alex? That is not good when a driver comes back to pit road. Interesting call for Alex to go back to pit road to top off again. Interesting, Eli. The mind games are at play.
And that'll shake up our restart once again as we have one lap until we go racing again. It'll be Jeffrey Peppers and James Jones out front. I'm just confused.
Oh, looks like Alex might
That's
be serving a penalty, Eli.
Okay. Yeah, I would assume so. But
Yep, looks like.
this is definitely not the strategy I was expecting these drivers to play.
Yeah, I don't see any jack stands going up on the 72 Mustang, so unless he was speeding on pit road, uh, that or something happened where he has to take an extended, time away from the rig. But that's unfortunate if, as we get ready to go green, and you nailed it on the head, another shakeup, ready to go green. And once again, the front row completely changes with Jones and Peppers. So it's going to be an interesting, interesting restart.
I'm just trying to, because if I was these drivers, I would almost take the track position right now instead of coming down pit road. But I don't know, with pitting this, only a couple laps into the race, but obviously they know better than I do. But I'm confused that one of these guys didn't opt for the track position. But we'll see how it all plays out.
Very interesting. There's Hardee and there's Frank. All right, it looks like Alex is back rolling. Oh, as Peppers blinks a little bit. We'll keep that. Watch out for that. You don't want to get disqualified for blinking. But safety measures. If you blink too much, or the admins have to, do something. But as we get ready to go green, Peppers is gonna lead the way. Eli, take it away from here.
Yeah, this is James Jones all by himself on the outside. Jeffrey Peppers trying to hold that lead into turn one. As we got a battle for second between Dustin Hardee and James Jones. As Frank locks the brakes just a little bit, it'll be Jeffrey Peppers taking the lead by a good margin now over Dustin Hardee. So they're going to head towards the bus stop. Jeffrey Peppers in first, Dustin Hardee in second. As Dustin Hardee, look at this momentum he's getting.
Huge run through the S's. That was a huge run through the S's. Can he make a move? No, he thought better of it. Too early to make that move, Eli.
Yeah, but it looks like he's definitely setting up a pass here pretty soon. It looks like his car right now is just a little bit better than that 9 car. It's only a matter of time, it looks like, before that 52 is able to get by the number 9 car.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's good to see Peppers, up there battling, for, and holding off Hardee. Good for him. It's I'm very, very, very excited to see him after his struggles this season. So, Alex, who is not racing but is watching, said that first caution was for Jeff to try to give Jeff back on track, and Zayd dropped out. So, unfortunate that has taken place.
Yeah, especially Xavier, because he was just so fast in practice. It's unfortunate that he's not able to make the race tonight.
Yeah, unfortunate, but you know, you have that, you know, life, you know, happens, and it's unfortunate. Excuse me. As Hardy's back, excuse me, pardon me. As Hardy's back out on the lead, as we got a battle heating up here between Alex, as Peppers gets a little loose.
Yeah, and I did see when Dustin was able to get by Jeffrey Peppers, he did snap the wheel a little bit. Now that allowed Dustin to get by, so a little loose and in that 9 car. We'll see if he's able to get those issues figured out. But he's getting a lot of pressure from that 72 car for second.
Yeah, and you know Alex wants to get around Peppers because Dustin is setting sail 2 seconds out in front of this battle as Alex goes for that dive bomb into the bus stop and he makes it work. Oh, as he gets a little loose to the bus stop chicane, but that was impressive from Alex. Good heads up driving from Peppers to realize that move was coming. Now can he track down our race leader? Looks like Frank Skimmerhorn is way off the pace. I don't know if he got into the wall or not, but we'll take a look. No, it looks clean and green for that number 18 Fire Rescue Chevrolet. I think he's just taking it easy, knowing that, you know, the worst he can finish is 5th where he's at, but that will give him a lot of points and shake up the point standings. Another guy to watch for today, see if he can gain some more points this season, is James Jones. New car, new paint scheme for him, Eli. See what he can do in that beautiful Camaro.
Yeah, he's running 4th right now, and just holding steady, holding down that spot. No one really ahead of him, no one really behind him, just holding steady.
Don't look now, but Alex has closed that 2-second gap to a car length and a half off the back bumper of the 52 of Dustin Hardee. That road racing prowess starting to show for the 72. He's going to tuck up and follow Hardee, probably make his move into turn 1 if I had to take a guess. We're going to watch this battle for the lead. As Alex makes the late move, nope, thinks better of it, letting Dustin know that he's there, trying to force a mistake. As we ride single file, wide arc into the S's for Hardee as we go up through the S's. Probably my favorite part of this whole track, if I'm honest. Alex stalking Hardee like a shark in blood-infested water. And nope, thinks better of it, stays tucked in the line, gonna ride, but he is definitely gonna start wearing out that back bumper of Hardee here pretty soon.
Yeah, and looks like Alex is just a little bit faster than Dustin, which is exactly what we saw when he looks like, no, not quite going to make the move. This is almost exactly what we saw when Dustin was trying to get by Jeffrey Peppers. Just that car behind, just a little bit faster, just trying to set up that pass for the perfect time. Looks like he's going to try and get that momentum down the front straightaway, maybe make that move that he was trying to make one lap ago in turn 1. We'll see what he does here in turn 1. Goes
Makes
for it, and
that
this time he's
move.
going to go for it.
Dustin
Oh,
closes the door. Heavy on the brakes for Hardee. You saw those brakes, cherry red. He was on the binders trying to get that Camaro to slow down. Good driving from these two. Because we got 45 laps to go. These, even though it's a road course, these laps tick by in just over a minute. So it really is a fast road course here at Watkins Glen. It's very much a momentum racetrack. It feels way longer when you're in the car, but trust me, folks, you're hauling the mail. Into turn 6, Dustin opens up a 3.5 car length lead, but Alex chops it on the exit of 6 into 7, going to on the front stretch. Dustin's going to take the defensive line. He's going to force Alex to go onto the inside. Dustin with the
and
defensive line.
You were talking earlier about how this was a momentum racetrack. It races almost a whole lot different than the rest of the road courses we have. You know, they call it the super speedway of road courses. As this battle it's getting really good for the lead, and it has been for a couple laps. These two are just neck and neck. It's just really been tough to pass for that 72 car, but he's trying every possible way he can. It only almost looks like a matter of time until that 72 is able to get by the 52. It's just, where is he able to make that pass work and stick?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and Dustin's doing a masterful job and not giving Alex much room, as Alex might take a look here into turn 6. Nope, thinks better of it. Try to set him up for turn 7, Eli. Nope, Dustin with the defensive line forcing Alex to try to go somewhere where Dustin's not. As he looks like he's just going to sit and ride down the front stretch into this tight right-hand turn 1. Hot on the binders for Hardee. Hardee gets a little loose. It allows Alex to pounce. Alex is on the back bumper of that 52. Can Alex make his move into the bus stop, or will Dustin Hardee prevail? Hardee with a 4 or 5 car length lead. I don't know if Alex got loose or he's just saving his tires.
It's just, Alex has got to be so frustrated right now. And he almost might want to back it down just a tad, just using up the brakes so much in the tires. But if he's able to get by Dustin here, as he might almost put the bumper to him, that'll just play out so much better for his race. As you can tell, that car is just so much faster, but just so tough to pass with Hardee.
Yep.
Playing amazing defense.
You nailed it right on the head about how hard this place is. And you have about 2 to 3 passing opportunities this whole track. Obviously, turn 1, the bus stop. And if you have big cojones, you can make a dive bomb into 6 and 7 and make it work. As Alex takes that position away from Hardee with ease, can he get that car slowed down before Hardee does a crossover? Crossover from the 52 car. What great racing from these two, as Alex tries to stick it on the outside through the S's, but unfortunately that's not the best way around the S's, as Hardee retakes the lead. Well, Eli, he just showed his hands to Hardee.
Yeah, but that was impressive by Dustin Hardee, able to get right back by that 72, and that almost makes me think that these cars are more even than that 72 being faster. I think these cars are almost dead even right now.
Yeah, absolutely, and they have very similar driving styles as well. So it's entertaining to see. Obviously, Dustin is better through the momentums, but Alex is definitely better on the tight. First, as Dustin gets a little squirrely, so does Alex, as we got a battle for the lead side by side going to the 7. Alex is going to make the high line work as Dustin gets a little loose. That was what I was talking about with turn 6 and 7. You can make it stick, but you better hope, as we know, Dustin was trying to do the bump and run.
This is just insane racing for the lead. I cannot believe this. I mean, that pass on the high side, I don't know if I've ever seen that work before. And it looked like Dustin, this is just absolutely intense. This is shades of Chris Buescher and SVG from a couple years back here. Alex hits the wall.
Oh, Alex.
Oh, no.
Oh, Alex has got significant damage as he hits the wall going into the bus stop.
that's going to give the lead right back to the
Right
52.
back to Dustin, and depending
That is really
on the
unfortunate.
damage, but it still
It
looks
did
like
look like
he's
he
keeping
broke his toe in.
pace. So it looks like just front end damage. He tried to, go dive on, like I was saying. You don't have curves onto the bus stop, so you can push it and push it into that entry, but you know, ever so slightly, just miscalculated that. But that Mustang still has the pace. He was able to track Dustin back down, and
This is an impressive drive by that 72. It does look like his
he's got
right
a little bit
front.
of right front.
Oh,
As
we got a
Pepper
car coming
spins in the
around.
back, as we saw that.
I cannot believe he just caught right back up to him, though. That is just
So
wild, because that was
obviously
a
that Mustang does not,
huge hit.
is handling enough where he can still keep pace. But we'll keep an eye on that because that is definitely going to affect him on those right hand corners as we see him get a little loose over the curbs.
It looks like, yeah, it looks like the S's is definitely where that car is going to struggle, because it looks like it just doesn't have overall grip to just get that car turned now with that damage. So
Yep.
it
It will
looks like the
take
rest of the track is okay, but definitely that section of the track not going to be good for that car.
Yep, the S's will definitely be a struggle for the 72 car. And with 40 laps to go, this is these two, man. I can't say it enough that these two really do demonstrate what high quality racing is supposed to look like, and they do a masterclass of it. And me and Eli are very fortunate to share the track with both of these amazing gentlemen, and it's always a pleasure when you can get on track with these two guys.
Absolutely, and it's really helpful to learn from them too, just their techniques and things that they do to go fast, and just really two great guys in general.
Yeah, absolutely. Always a pleasure to not only cover them but get to know these guys as human beings. And Dustin's racing with a little bit of a heavy heart today. Some health issues with his dad. So he's driving with his dad on his mind today. So thoughts and prayers going out to the Hardee family through a tough time, and always a pleasure to see Dustin out here, battling through adversity. So that's not on the back of his mind, but he's doing such a good job compartmentalizing that and focusing on the task at hand.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I just can't believe. I don't know if Alex's car may wear off with damage, but I cannot believe how he is just able to hold with Dustin, even with that damage. That just shows the level of a driver that Alex is, even with that mistake.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, the only part that he's going to struggle is through the right-handers. But yeah, no, he's doing a masterful job at showing what you can do with a damaged race car. Because I know if that was me, I wouldn't be able to drive it. I'd be going to pit road and being like, I need this fixed.
Yeah, but some drivers are just able to manage it, and it's really awesome to see just the speed that and just imagine how much better he would even be without the damage.
Absolutely. Well, you saw him before he got into the wall. He was pulled almost a second and a half on Dustin. So that Mustang's got some pace. It just does not like to be behind dirty air. I can tell you that with the attitude of that car. As he makes a move to 6, nope, thinks better of it. I still can't believe this is just a masterclass show of racing right here, folks. You won't see it much better, and these are two of the best going at it here.
Yeah, and
I
the gap that they're pulling on third place, as we did see him spin out, unfortunately, but is now 15, almost 16 seconds to third place. So they're just in another league right now.
Yeah, and another 20 seconds back to fourth, and Frank just biding his time, running for those points. As Alex thought he was going to make a look of it, but thought better of it. That mistake he made is definitely going to haunt him every time he sees that corner. As Dustin gets a little loose, good checkup and good heads-up driving by the 72 not to get into the back of the 52 car. And once again, the battle rages on outside, out of the carousel down the short chute. Alex trying everything in his arsenal to try to get back around. He gets a little loose. Man, these drivers have been trading the slides, Eli, lap after lap, corner after corner, tick for tat, and they really. I'm blown away.
Yeah, I've just been blown away all season by the racing in this league as Alex is trying to get by, but just not going to have that momentum on corner exit. Dustin's
Ooh,
going to get
already a
back.
little
But
close on
he's
that.
oh, he might have it. No, not quite. The S's is the struggle point for him, but he's going to try and get that momentum back down on the straightaway into the S or into the bus stop. Here
Yeah,
he
you
goes
gotta.
to the inside,
He's gonna make this.
side by side in the bus stop.
Who's gonna have the best brakes going into this bus stop? Will Alex get it? Yep. As Hardee gets a little twitchy,
Dustin,
Kenny's
oh no,
he
oh
saves it,
no.
which allow. Unfortunately, he was trying not to give Alex that room, but this is the breathing Alex needed. But don't let him get away. Hardee's gonna have to let those tires cool off ever so slightly to regroup and get a run on him. As Alex has set sail 3-some seconds ahead. Now, if you're Dustin, just need to settle back, regroup, chase him down. You know where you're stronger. Alex is definitely better on the second half of this racetrack, Eli, from the bus stop to the start finish, and Hardee is definitely better on the first half. So it's a little bit of yin for yang here.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised for Dustin to catch right back up and they be battling again in the next couple laps here. But currently, Alex pulling away, but not. It well, it'll just be interesting to see if Dustin's able to catch back up to him
Yep,
here in the next couple laps.
absolutely. As we start looking into our pit stop window opening up here soon. 'Cause I do. As Alex has checked out another full second through the back half of this racetrack. Almost 5 seconds in the front. Now, if you're Dustin Hardee, Eli, are you going to try to undercut this to try to get ahead of Alex, or are you going to try to stay out one more lap?
I I might take the undercut. I don't know exactly what their plan is, but I would I think this I'm interested to see exactly what they do and maybe even potentially pit on the same lap. We'll see how the strategy plays out for each of these drivers and as well the drivers in third and back. If one of these drivers makes a costly mistake, if they're able to take advantage of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Oops. My apologies, folks. So we're going to see if James Jones can track down third. He's been slowly cutting into that deficit on Peppers. So it's going to be interesting. We're going to have a battle for third heating up here soon. So that's going to be our next battle to watch to see if Jones can get up there. And don't look now, but Frank has the leader in his rearview mirrors. But that's okay. He's just riding for points at this point in time, which he desperately needs after two abysmal weeks in a row. Eli, he has not had the start of the season that he would have liked.
Yeah, but he's good at riding it out and waiting for the chaos to happen in front of him and taking advantage of that. And like you said, just collecting those points, and that's valuable from a driver. That is, if you're showing up every weekend and just riding it out, and there's always bound for someone to make a mistake at some point, and just being able to take advantage of that and collecting those points and getting ahead of some other drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. And with like I said, over half the field not showing up today or not wanting to race the road course race, which I know a couple of drivers don't do road course races, which is fine. I struggle at road courses myself, but Watkins Glen for some reason. Um, but huge. This is gonna shake up the huge for the points. Week 3 of the season. So We're going to keep an eye on that as the season goes on and how much this drop week will affect the points, later on in the season. But, good to see Frank, running clean and that Chevy having minimal, if any, scratches on that thing. So, yeah, he's going to let Alex go by here so he doesn't, interfere with the race lead. And Alex has pulled out almost a 9-second lead as we see in the braking zone. Hardee pulls another second into that lead, but yeah, I don't know if Hardee just used up his stuff or what, but Hardee has not had the pace since his little mishap in that bus stop. As Frank will pull over and let Alex go by. Oh, he's going to race the leader into the bus stop. But yeah, there's Alex putting Frank a lap down. Oh, Frank misses the bus stop, so that's going to be a stop and go for him.
Like you were talking about before, just ever since that little hiccup by Dustin Hardee, um, he has just almost been losing time to Alex, which just shows, even with that damage, and maybe that damage made him faster, but just Alex on these longer runs is just so much better than everyone else.
Yeah, absolutely. As Hardee has to get around Frank. He was really hoping that Frank would battle Alex a little bit tougher to try to, slow him down. But Alex made quick work of Frank Skimmerhorn. As Dustin is trying to figure out what he can do behind the wheel of that Chevrolet to track down the Mustang. And if I'm not mistaken, it's the only Mustang in the field. So if the only Mustang takes the win, that's going to be some bragging rights for the Mustang.
Yeah, absolutely. As earlier in the season, it was almost all Mustangs at the racetrack. Now it's just down to one. So definitely would be a statement win for that manufacturer.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I'm not mistaken, you guys can correct me in the chat, but I almost feel like the Mustangs have a little bit of an advantage on road courses uh, aerodynamically than the Camaro. Or, I'm sorry, the Chevrolet. Um, I don't know, Eli. You have the Toyota, so you know, is the Toyota a little bit more stable on the road course races? You think, or is it just driving style?
I think with the Cup cars, it's almost even with between the manufacturers. I'm sure there's some minor differences, but um, I would say I haven't tested enough with the new updates and stuff to kind of figure out which one is better. But I would say with it only being really minor differences between manufacturers, I think it's really more in the driver's hands of, no matter what car they run, they can make that car go fast if they can figure out the right tricks for it.
Yeah, that's true. I want to give a shout out for Peppers. After getting loose and giving up the lead. He's held down third from Jones, and kind of that gap from Jones and him have kind of stabilized in about 5 seconds. He's slowly starting to cut into the deficit that Hardee has on him. So look for him to try to do some strategy call if they can not stretch it the rest of the day. Which big blink for Peppers. Looks like we have Alex is in pit road time, so this is going to be interesting for Dustin as Dustin follows him. Not what I was expecting from Hardee. So interesting, and this should give Frank Skimmerhorn his lap back and put Peppers is going to lead, going to take over the lead, and we'll see how long he stays out. That will give second over to James Jones. So new life for both Jones and Peppers here with this fuel stop, Eli. Now the question is, with under 20 laps to go, how far can these two stretch it, and how far can they get out in front of the 2 leaders that just pit?
Yeah, that is definitely an interesting thing to think about. And Not that there is a very high chance for a caution, but a caution could throw a wrench into things. Not necessarily would, but um, it'll be interesting to see how far Peppers is willing to stretch this out. And maybe he'll stretch it out until that fuel tank can't go any longer, or maybe he'll pit in the next couple laps or so.
Absolutely. As we see Alex in the background, looks like he got that damage fixed. So that Mustang's 100%, and he gapped Hardy by a 10 seconds on that pit cycle. So once this cycle's around, Dustin's going to be at a major disadvantage. So we'll see if it's too little too late for Hardy, or if he can somehow work the magic and get that 52 another gear. Otherwise, this is Alex's race to lose. As we see Alex, even with fresh tires, Eli, these tires are up to temp now after a lap. Alex is ever so slightly by the 10th, closing into that gap between him and Jones. So as much as fresh tires may give you an advantage, this track, depending on where you catch the corners, it can be challenging.
Yeah, and that just shows how much of a gap that Alex originally had on these drivers, that he's already able to almost catch back up to the drivers that have not even pitted yet.
Yeah, absolutely. Still almost 6 seconds to take over that second position. So the question is, when do we see our leader, Jeffrey Peppers, in the 9? When does he make his pit stop, as Frank looks to go a lap down again? The 9 can get around a caution. Interesting. Is this... We don't have competition cautions. Eli, are you hearing anything why this caution was thrown? Oh, looks like Hardy might have spun maybe. A lot of gravel. Let's take a look.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure.
Oh, Dustin Hardy loses it all on his own into 6. Just gets loose into the marbles, and yep, that will definitely bring out a caution flag. Ugh, unfortunate for him that he's the proprietor of our caution today, but yeah, look at all that debris. So the driver's going to have a handful as they go through that section next time by. But, this is kind of breathing a new life into this race, Eli. As Hardy...
Yeah, that'll make life a whole lot easier for Jeffrey Peppers and James Jones.
Now, Eli, the question is, did Jones and Peppers make the race-winning call? Because as we see Jones going in and Peppers is staying out, interesting strategy call for Peppers. This will give him, if he does, he definitely needs to pit. We know that. Now he's going to have 3 to 4 lap fresher tires when he comes out the pit. So can that be the advantage that he needs to play this overcut?
Yeah, very interesting strategy call. We'll see. I'm just interested to see how long that 9 car can stretch it on this run. I would assume that he'd definitely have to pit at least one more time. But I just want to see. I want to see how long he can stretch that.
As Alex is not giving it an option but to run that car and not coast. As we got a little bump drafting going on from the pace car. I don't know if NASCAR is going to be happy with that, boys. Might have to back off or you're going to talking to. We all remember that from when Tony Stewart did it. NASCAR wasn't happy. But yeah, this will give the field relatively the same tires. So it's going to be interesting now that Dustin and Frank and James Jones all have another breath. It looked like Alex was just going to run away with it. So we're going to hit 15 to go this time by. We should get the green flag about 13 to go. So it's going to be interesting, Eli, and 13 laps is going to tick off here fast.
Yeah, especially compared to other road courses. These laps go by a lot faster than a traditional road course. So, um, before you know it, we're gonna have about 20 laps to go, and we're closing down to the end of this race.
I'm sorry, I said 15 ago. My apologies. Thanks, Eli, for correcting that. I had a little bit of I have no idea what the heck was going on in my brain. As we see the leaders diving onto pit road, I think Alex is probably going to use another set of tires, so everybody's probably going to be on the same fresh set of tires. So this should be interesting to say the least here. As
Yeah.
Dustin stays onto the racetrack. Interesting call from Hardee. I'll give the race lead to him, but correct. Yep, looks like we got 4 tires and fuel going on in the number 9 car. Looks like just fuel for the
And
72 as he has another long stop for the 72 car.
I really like this call from Dustin Hardy because now he has that track position on the 72, and we know how even those cars are. So now that he has that track position on the 72, if he is able to keep that car clean the rest of the way, that could be the race winning move.
Yeah, and Frank goes around the 72 car too, so interesting call from Hardy and Skimmerhorn. And if I'm not mistaken, Eli, correct me if I'm wrong, but Frank has to make a pit stop, doesn't he?
I haven't been paying too close attention to him. I don't know for sure if when he was getting his lap back, if he made a stop, but we'll see if we get word on that.
Yeah, absolutely. A long stop for Alex. I'm thinking maybe he was just having some more damage repaired, but extra long stop for the 72 is going to drop him back. So we'll see. Oh, interesting. Looks like Alex and Peppers will be ahead of Hardy. Interesting call, Eli. I would have thought Hardy would have been the race leader after passing these guys on the pit road because he didn't go a lap down.
I'm almost thinking that might be him giving that up for causing the caution, but I'm not
Interesting.
sure.
Everybody's
But as
diving back onto
he,
pit road. Looks like this might be an admin call in voice chat for everybody to get 4 fresh tires so we can have a race to the finish.
okay,
That's my
interesting.
that's my take on what's happening because yeah, you already saw Peppers, Jones, and Alex all on pit road already, so interesting. I'm thinking this is gonna if I'm not mistaken, I'll ask Hardy, but I'm pretty sure that was probably an admin call so we could have a good run to the finish.
Yeah, it may have been.
Eli,
Definitely shake
will
things
you
up,
go
but
and
even every.
see if message him real quick and we'll find out that answer for you folks.
But I think it's really important for Jeffrey Peppers to have that track position right now. But he's going to have Alex to his side on this restart. We'll see if he's able to hold on into turn one.
Absolutely, and yeah, I'm kind of curious to see what that was all about because if I'm not mistaken, it looks like the caution might have been extended to allow us to have that extra pit stop. Just bear with us, folks, for 1 second. We are getting the official word here momentarily for you so you guys can know what's happening. With that being said, Alex will be our number 1 car here to start it, and Peppers will be on the outside, followed by Jones on the inside with Frank on the outside as Hardy rounds out our top 5. Looks like we should be going green this time by because lights are out on the pace car. Nope. Yep, we are going green. Single file restart.
All right.
Green flag, green
Uh,
flag.
so as the race gets restarted, I just talked to the drivers, and they said that was not an admin call. That was for fuel, to save fuel.
Oh, okay. As Jones gets way off in turn one. All right, interesting. Interesting as Alex gets a huge as Peppers hit hard into the wall. Hard into the wall through the S's. Ugh. That's unfortunate for him, but as we all know, we should have a fast repair, if not two, here on road courses, as he's going to not even attempt to make the bus stop. He's going to limp that Chevrolet back to pit road. Oh, unfortunate for him. He was running third at the time of that incident, as we got a battle for what is now third with Frank Skimmerhorn up to third with that. Jones looking to try to get around him to get into the podium. You know, that would be a heck of an interview if he can finish in the top three for Jones. But it also
Yeah, just been very solid all day long, but currently Frank Skimmerhorn in that podium position. It's just a huge shakeup from what was earlier on in this race. Very, very nice. Good to see those drivers being able to stick it through and just kind of take advantage of everything that's been going on.
Yeah, absolutely. As Alex has a 3.3 second gap and pulling on Hardee. The battle's for third right now. Frank has it, but Jones wants it. As Frank's going to take the defensive line and just give the position to Jones. So Jones is going to try to track down Hardee as we see the 9 finally limp it down to pit road to the service of his crew. Unfortunate for him is Alex has almost a 4-second lead. Eli,
I just, sorry, continue.
no, I was passing that back to you. I'm mind blown at how far and how fast that 72 car has pulled away from Hardee.
Yeah, and it didn't take long for Dustin Hardee to make it back to second. But I just think it'd be really, really cool to see Frank Skimmerhorn in the top three, but not just in the top three, a top three at a road course.
That would be cool. We'll see if he can try to regroup and get around Jones, but if I know Frank, he's comfortable riding him forward. You know, Frank
Yeah,
is...
he'll take the points.
He definitely will take the points. As it looks like we have 20 laps to go this time by. So 20 laps, about 25, 26 minutes of racing here left for these Cup cars. And this is the time when if you have something, you need to shine, because you don't want that 72 car getting any further out. Maybe Hardee will get an advantage and Peppers will hold up Alex. We shall see. Closing laps here at the Glen. So you see a bunch of debris on the front stretch getting kicked up in the braking zone. That's something to keep an eye on too. Oh, looks like Jeffrey Herrick is finally back on track, many laps down, as we see him pop up on our live timing and scoring. Jones through the bus stop looking strong. There's our man Frank Skimmerhorn. And Herrick comes back on track, 33 laps down in what looks to be a test car, Eli.
I was glad to see him getting out on track, though. Not going to make up any positions, obviously, but going to be able to get those points. It's better to have the points than to not have them.
Absolutely. So, as he blows through the bus stop, yeah, cold tires, and his first lap on the track is going to be interesting. So good to see Herrick back out on track getting some much needed road course racing experience, if you ask him, as it looks like he is slowing to serve his slowdown penalty, and he is back under the way. So good to see him back out there. As Peppers in fifth, but don't look now, Peppers. You better be fast as Amazon Prime on Prime days, because our leader is hot on your tail, wants to make a delivery to your front door. If y'all don't know, Amazon Prime days are officially underway, so go ahead and shop on over at Amazon Prime and get the deals before they are gone. Little in-race plug for Prime. As our leader has pulled out a 6.3, sometimes a 6.5 second gap on Hardee. Another 4 back to Jones. So I don't want to say the race is over, but something needs to happen, because if the boys can't figure it out, Alex will take another W. We'll see how Peppers decides to race our leader. Will he race him hard, or will he let him go? We'll watch and see. Yeah, Peppers will let him go by without hassle. Not what Dustin Hardee wanted to see. He wanted to see Peppers try to battle to stay on the lead lap, but at this point, Peppers knows that Alex is faster than him in that 72 car. So you see Hardee starting to go up through the S's. He's almost 8 seconds behind your leader in second. And I know he wants to win, but a second place finish gives him good points for missing last week. So he needs this finish there, Eli.
Yeah, but I just think all the drivers that aren't in this race might be regretting their decision, because they're going to lose a whole heck of a lot of points, because these drivers, worst you could finish being sixth. Not too many points to be lost by these drivers.
No, absolutely. And like I said earlier, a huge shakeup in the points after this week's race before we head into next week's race. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the points battle shaping up here early on in the season, and how much of a shakeup this has. Excuse me. As we go to Dover next week, Eli, followed by a short track at North Wilkesboro, and then another road course in Mexico, the Autodrome Hermanos Rodriguez. Sorry, I know I butchered that. It's a tongue twister for me to say. So 2 weeks of traditional oval racing for the Hardee Cup Series before we hit another road course. So it's going to be interesting to see how much the points change from week 3 to week 5, or week 6 at the road course. So something to watch out for, as these drivers only have 2 weeks before we go back turning right and left. So the drivers that didn't make a start today, I would assume are going to want to start at Mexico. Otherwise, you're going to lose 2 races worth of points, and that early on in the season, as you know, Eli, is not good.
Yeah, and we talk about Mexico City. We talk about how tough the braking is here at Watkins Glen. Like for example, in turn one in the bus stop, multiply that by like 10. That's what you're going to get from Mexico City with those high altitudes. It's very, very tough track. And also the short tracks as well, going to be really tough managing those tires as well. So different challenges for all these different types of racetracks we're going to be visiting.
Absolutely. And next week at Dover, the high banked. Dover is notorious for tight racing, a lot of cautions. So, these next, 3 to 4 weeks are going to be challenging on these drivers before we get to our traditional mile and a half at Chicagoland. But yeah, the next month in the schedule is definitely going to be a challenge for these drivers here in the Hardy Cup Series. We did not make it easy on them. We wanted to see them get challenged, and we definitely are going to do that here with our schedule and how we have it laid out here.
Yeah, absolutely. As we're now, I believe, 15
15 to
laps
go.
to go.
Hardy wants another battle for this lead, but he's gonna have to look in that back mirror because James Jones is in his eyesight. So that's one thing. As much as you want to look out that front windshield and see that leader saying "Saranara," you got to look out back and see what's going on around you. So this race is far from over, but 14 laps, a lot could happen. Real quick here, as we got 14 to go, I just want to give a huge shout out as Jones gets a little loose going into the bus stop. Overshot it, but gathers it up. Doesn't hit the wall, so good save by him. Like I said, I wanted to give a huge shout out to the Hardy Cup Series, Hardy Designs, Hardy Setup Shop. If you ever need a setup, go ahead and send a message over to Dustin Hardy, and he'll hook you up with some setups for road, oval, you name it. Multiple different categories of racing as well. So go ahead if you need a setup, go there, and we look forward to seeing you on a track with a Hardy setup underneath the car. See how you do. Real quick, I want to give a huge shout out to my wife for allowing me to do this every Tuesday. It's been my pleasure and my honor to bring you the Hardy Cup Series here on Wilkes Productions, and huge shout out to my broadcast partner Eli every week for coming in and giving his little bit of information that he has. And yeah, Eli, you have anything to add as far as we kind of just ride around here and pick off laps?
Yeah, like you said, gonna give a shout out for Dustin for allowing us to broadcast his series, and shout out to you for always letting me be up here, and just a really really fun series. Just the quality of racing that we have here, and hopefully as we get in the rest of the races of the season and next season, getting bigger fields as well. And just want to thank everyone for allowing me to be part of this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been fun to bring you the Hardy Cup Series, and we're still young. We're still green, as you call it. Wetbacks, whatever you want to say. But this series has promise and a high quality of racing. So stay tuned as the Hardy Cup Series gathers momentum, folks, because once the halfway point of the season, this is going to be the series to watch here. So stay tuned, and yeah, we're going to be in for a long, entertaining season. Unfortunate to see Jeffrey decide to park it and say I'm good with laps, but he has a lot going on right now. So thoughts and prayers with him and his family right now through the tough times. So Jeff, if you're watching us here, all of us here at Hardy Cup and Wilkes Productions, gives us your well wishes, and hope life gets a little bit easier. And I know through tough times, it's hard to see the light, but stay strong there, brother. as we are going to hit 10 to go this time by, I want to remind everybody, if you know anybody or you yourself are want to get into sim racing, head over to iRacing.com and get your subscription. It's a wonderful program, and a lot of racers are using it to hone their skills. And like us in the Hardy Cup series, this is where friendships and memories are made. So hop on over to iRacing.com, and if you got a buddy, ask for the referral code so he can help you out, and you can help him out or her. So with that, I am going to take a quick break to allow my voice to rest, and I will hand it over to Eli, and he will take you almost home to the checkered flag.
Yeah, you just been watching here. It's been Alex just absolutely dominating. As earlier on we were seeing Dustin contend with him, but as we get later in this run, it's one car and one car only battling for the win, and that's the 72 of Alex. Just absolute domination. We don't really have a whole lot of battles throughout the field. Kind of gotten more, figuring out who's going to be in what spot. Our closest one right now, 6-second gap between Dustin Hardee and James Jones. Then 50 seconds back from the leaders, Frank Skimmerhorn in 4th. Jeffrey Peppers with that damage 1 lap down, and Jeffrey Herrick out of the race 41 laps down, getting those points. Those valuable points, though, for that 49 car. Hopefully next week we'll see a little bit bigger field here, but though being in a smaller field, still really high quality racing here earlier on. But as we get later in this run, we just see this 72 clicking off laps and getting ever so closer to that checkered flag, as you almost wonder if he's thinking in that car, starting to battle or back it down a little bit and ease into this victory, as he has no pressure from behind him whatsoever.
Yeah,
Here, and
you bring up a good point there, Eli, with, he has a 22-second gap. He could back it down almost a second a lap and make it interesting, but knowing Alex, he's going to keep that foot through the floorboards.
Yeah, and we'll see if this momentum continues to our next road course at Mexico. So, we unfortunately were not able to see Xavier and Joseph Smith in the race tonight, but we'll see if they come and make it there. They will be back. Have a lot more competition for Alex here, but they're not. You know who's going to be leading a lot of these races? It's going to be Alex in that 72 car.
Yeah, absolutely. Look forward to seeing what he can do when we go to Mexico City, and that's going to be a challenge amongst like you said, with the high elevation, and I had the privilege of getting that track right when it came out here on the server, and yeah, I drove it in a GT3 car, and that car itself even had a struggle to slow down. So these big, heavy stock cars are definitely going to have a challenge there at Autodrome Rodriguez. As we have under 10 laps to go, as Alex still is pulling away from Hardee, and man, what a drive from the 72 car.
Yeah, definitely a statement. But like I said, his usual competitors, Xavier and Joseph Smith, both not in the race, and that, like you said, a huge shakeup in the points because those two drivers were leading the way, I believe. Now it almost looks like Alex may be able to take over that points lead, and these other drivers like Frank, James Jones, Dustin Hardee are going to be, Dustin Hardee did miss the race, but will be able to get ahead of drivers like Joseph Smith and potentially even Xavier.
Yeah, absolutely. And with this drive, leading the most laps and probably the quickest lap of the race, Alex is definitely going to get the much extra bonus points, and that comes with, the dominated performance. So, if he doesn't somehow manage to take over the points lead, I'd be surprised. So, we'll look forward to that. We'll make an announcement on our Discord channel. So, we'll get a link posted here at the video at the end of the night, so you guys can do that. So you guys can keep track of how everybody's doing at home, and the drivers also. We all keep an eye on these every race, every week, and I know for me and Eli, we race on Thursdays in a different series, and we're always constantly looking at points. So what you can do and help your standings at the end of the season. Betters your chances. Next season, or you know finding a better series or better ride. So there's always options to move around and get better here on iRacing. That's what I have to say is probably the best thing about iRacing. Is the ability to hone your craft.
Yeah, absolutely. And everything is exactly how it is in real life. So, really, just getting that understanding of what drivers in real life are experiencing is and also with that is why you see these cars and tracks are just so tough to drive because everything is laser scanned to the detail, just so realistic.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's one thing I have to say out of the racing games I've ever played and been a part of. It definitely gives you that immersive feel, And if you have what in the industry is called a motion rig, and you can feel the bumps when your car goes over it, that's a whole nother level that adds almost like a 5D feeling to you, so you can actually feel what the car's doing. So it's pretty cool. These are actual tracks, actual size, everything. Like Eli said, they're laser scanned to the minute of finest details. It may not look like that on the screen, but you can definitely feel that when you're behind the wheel of one of these cars.
Yeah, absolutely. And even just those differences between the series of cars we talk about, Xfinity cars, truck cars, even the ARCA cars, all drive so differently from each other. So just even like we talk about, some of these drivers come from the late model background that are in the Hardy Cup series. So those cars especially drive so much differently than the Cup cars. So these drivers having to get used to driving the Cup cars for the first time this
Yeah,
season.
absolutely. And he mentioned different disciplines. As Frank Skimmerhorn's going to go a lap down. Unfortunate for him, would have he wanted to finish on the lead lap, I know, but like we said time and time again, I'll broadcast those far. Huge point stay for Frank. So he's going to let Alex go by and take home the points for fourth. Huge points payout for Frank. And yeah, Eli, you mentioned it when you were saying about different disciplines. And we have every type of background you can think of. We have guys like Alex who, is a young up and comer, but, his background's more in like the late models and, super late model cars. And Frank, is more of a dirt guy. I'm kind of all around. I drive, the cup cars. I drive road cars. I drive the dirt cars here on iRacing. And, I used to drive super lates in real life. So, coming from that to what the cars have become now in almost 15 years of not being behind the wheel is quite insane to see and allows a lot of us that, will never get the opportunity to actually be behind the wheel of these cars in real life. It gives us an opportunity to enjoy it with our friends and you know, it's pretty fun. You can jump in a league race like this, and once it's done, you jump in a hosted session that might be a dirt car or a GT3 or Formula One car. So it's very cool at the things you're able to do. Ella, we have officially like made the five to go. We really need to get a sponsor for five to go, don't you think?
Yeah, if we get sponsors, we'll take it. If anyone's out there looking to sponsor series, Hardy Designs Cup Series is up and coming league here. Always have really competitive racing, really respectful racing. Like I said, up and coming league, still trying to get drivers involved. And if you're a driver out there looking for a league, this is a good Tuesday night league for you as well. We race the Cup cars and just trying to grow this league.
Yeah, as we're gonna go right along and take a lap here with Alex from his helmet cam. You can see what he sees, and you can see how bumpy this track is as we ride on board through the carousel. Easy, steady inputs on the wheel. Just perfection, Eli. I like watching the onboards of this guy drive.
Yeah, and I don't even know he's even backed it down at all. I think he's been, running still about
No, but
90% this
holy
whole
cow,
race.
Eli, as we're riding on board, Hardee drops to third. What happened to Hardee as James Jones takes over your second spot?
That might, unless Hardy is able to get going again, that could be a huge opportunity not only for James Jones but as well um, Frank Skimmerhorn. But I do believe Dustin Hardy is able to get going again. But huge opportunity for James Jones to get up to that second spot.
Absolutely.
It did look like Dustin Hardy came down pit road.
So he might have just used his stuff up and needed to, or didn't have his. He's in the clutches of our leader going to go a lap down. Our third place driver not looking too good. Eli, did he spin or did he just dive to pit road?
I did not look to see if he spun. It might have just been one of those cases of, like you said, using the stuff up and yeah, just having to come to pit road to get some fresh tires.
Unfortunate for Hardy, we wanted to see these two this close the majority of the race, but if I know Hardy all too well, he's not gonna make this easy on Alex with 2 to go. This is gonna be interesting. Can Hardy hold off our race leader? Jones is gonna be ecstatic gaining a position on track. He was trying to run down Hardy. But now this breathes new life into his race, for him and his points battle. As we see, yeah, the advantage Hardy has might have got tires just to finish the race, but yeah, that's not typical of Hardy to pit this goes to the finish. So I think, yeah, like you said, Eli, he just used up his stuff and couldn't hang on to the car anymore, which is unfortunate after the good early battle that these two had.
Yeah, absolutely. But just that's going to give an extra point to James Jones, which might seem insignificant right now, but you never know towards the end of the season how if that could be significant or not. In talks with the if we talk about the championship.
Yeah, as we see the white flag in the air from our starter, 1 lap to go here, and this is Alex's race. Alex with a dominant drive here at Watkins Glen this afternoon. Put on a clinic, and except for that little incident, as Hardy goes in the grass, as Hardy's pushing not to go a lap down. Um, yeah, it was a small field, but really good racing up until some strategy came into play, and just looked like Hardy's car fell off a little bit, and that allowed Alex to sign, seal, and deliver the fate of that car. So this is definitely going to be a storyline for the next time we see right and lefts at Mexico. Is see if Hardy can have some redemption and show Alex who's boss. As Alex comes out at turn 7, and he will be your winner at the Glen. Dominating performance from him. As Jones is making his way up through the S's, he's going to be excited to see this checkered flag. What a good race for Jones after an abysmal start of the season, and he's definitely going to be hyped for this, knowing James. So it's going to be an
And
interesting.
just to talk about the domination of Alex, he has already started doing burnouts before James even made it to the bus stop, and James is running second.
Yeah, almost a minute lead. 56.9 is the official gap from first to second, and that's 95% of this racetrack. As Jones will come around turn 7 for the final time and see that checkered flag. And you know he's going to be excited when this checkered flag waves. And checkered flag officially second position here. Hardee will be third. Frank Skimmerhorn is fourth. As Hardee comes to see that checkered flag, your third place finisher. We got a couple more drivers finishing it up as we got Peppers making his way through the bus stop. As Alex goes back up to the start finish line. Obviously knows drivers are still finishing, doesn't want to get in the way, so he's going to be patient and be polite as our final rundown here from the Glen. Alex is number 1, James Jones is in number 2, number 3 is Dustin Hardee, 4th is Frank Skimmerhorn, 5th Jeffrey Peppers, 6th is Jeffrey Herrick, 7th is going to be Xavier, and 8th will be Waylon, the two drivers that didn't start the race today. As we see Alex burning it down. We'll get ready for our post-race interviews momentarily. All right. What an impressive drive there for our drivers here. Small field, but great racing here. Excuse
What's
me.
going on?
As Dustin Hardee comes in to our third place finisher. What's going on, Dustin? You look strong early on. What happened?
Alex is an alien. No, Alex is just way faster at road courses than we are, and I mean it is what it is. Um, I learned a lot tonight from riding around racing him. I picked up 3 seconds on my lap times just
Wow.
by racing him. So yeah, I mean I learned a lot. I'm a lot faster at road courses than I thought it was. So I'm fine with it. And I was gonna run out of gas, so I just went ahead and pitted, and James got me there. But I mean, hey, it's a top three.
Yeah, absolutely. You and Alex had a good battle, and we look forward to seeing what you guys can do at Mexico City. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. A couple intense weeks coming up. Dover next week. What are your thoughts heading into next week?
Uh, you said it's Dover next week.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna go win it. No,
Alrighty.
I'm I'm better at short tracks than I am anything really and truly. Um, so if I'm gonna win one against Alex and these guys, it's gonna be Bristol, Dover, North Wilkesboro, something like that.
All right. Well, you just mentioned the next track after Dover. We got North Wilkesboro, so two of your best tracks coming up. So we look forward to seeing what you can do and try to lay the smackdown here on the young buck.
Yeah, I got a lot to make up after getting a stupid suspension earlier in the season, but it is what it is. It's racing, fairness. I wasn't gonna be unfair about it, so I went ahead and suspended myself, and it's probably gonna end up screwing me at the end of the season, but we'll see.
Well, a lot of drivers didn't show up today as we knew that was going to happen, so that shouldn't be too much of a deficit for you with a drop week. So you still might be in the running.
Yeah, if you leave me in here and mute me, I'll let you know about the points before the end of your broadcast.
Absolutely, we can do that as we are getting ready to hit our second place finisher and James Jones here in the booth. And our second place
Ah,
finisher today
dang
is
it, Bobby. I'm gonna kick your ass.
welcome to the welcome to what is James Jones.
What's going
James,
on, Justin? Eli?
not a whole lot. You managed to squeak around the boss man and ended up second, so you got to be happy with that after the past couple weeks.
Yeah, it was a good run. I saw Hardy in the pit, and I looked at the fuel, and was gonna try to push it no matter what. So I saved when I saw him come out of the pit 17 seconds back. I kind of just started letting off and coasting through some corners.
Yeah, absolutely. No, a good run for you. I know that you were looking, forward to having a good run, and it came at one of the weirdest tracks ever for you.
Yeah, I've been practicing Watkins Glen though.
All right.
So
So talk to us a little bit about, obviously a really small field today. So were you kind of really trying to push it today, or just kind of knowing that you were going to get the points and say, I finish where I finish?
the first half of the race, it was just make it to the lap 27 stage break type deal since there was a small field, and then the second half it was try to run Hardy down and hopefully get up to Alex. That was my goal, is to actually get to Alex, but Alex is quick.
Yeah, no, Alex destroyed the field almost a minute over you. So domination at its finest, you can say.
But it was good. It was good racing from everybody. Everybody gave everybody space, and going into turn one on restarts, which you hardly ever see. So that was nice too. Everybody giving each other room.
Yeah, absolutely. We opened the broadcast talking about the treacherous turn one. We've seen it time and again where you get wheel hop and four, five, six cars end up getting taken out. So yeah, good run for you today, and we see what you can do at Dover next week.
Yes, sir. Hopefully it'll be a number one finish, not P2.
Absolutely. I think what have you finished second, third this season, and now you just need a first to round out the podium.
Yes, sir.
Oh boy. Well, we can look forward to seeing what you can do next week at Dover, and what a way to stick it out and get second. So congratulations.
Appreciate it, Justin. Thank you guys for putting on the broadcast too, you and Eli.
Absolutely, our pleasure. We're gonna drag in our race winner here. Oop, James. I will mute you, James. Give me 1 second because it won't let me pull you. All right, and our race winner, Alex. What's going on, man?
Um, not much. About you?
Just made you famous on the internet. How about that?
For
No,
real?
what a dominating performance. We knew you were good at road courses, but th- that's another story. Like I don't know
Yeah.
how you do this.
Um, it was fun. Honestly, a lot of the second half of the race was just conserving tires and fuel because I knew it was going to be close on fuel. Um, because the first part of the race we pitted a little before the halfway break and it was pretty close by then. But I just wanted to save some fuel, so I could give the fans a little smoke at the end there. Um, But honestly, I had a lot of fun. Hardy put up a good fight at the beginning there. I clobbered the wall. I don't know. I'm pretty sure the
We
broadcast got that.
we saw that, and that just a pushing it too hard too early, or
To be honest, I don't know what that was. I've crashed about 100 times here in preparation for this race, and that was a new one. I had never done that. Like all my couple dozen laps that I did for practice here yesterday, because I usually run here with the racing line on, so this was brand new for me. Um, But yeah, I just I guess I overcooked it. I'll do you know what lap that happened on? I'm gonna look back on it
I
real
do
quick.
not, unfortunately. But
Okay.
me and Eli were saying that it just how hard you smoked that wall, and the pace that Mustang still had was insane. Like I don't understand how you still had such pace after you knocked the wall down.
Yeah, I was concerned. To be honest, I thought it was cooked because I drove off and it didn't feel too great. But then when I got to the straight, the wheel was still relatively pointing in the right direction, so I ended up um being fine. Used my fast repair. Forgot I had it, to be honest. I thought I was gonna be in there for a minute. I was not. Um, but yeah, these guys they put up a good fight at the beginning there. It was
And
just
we do have
the
a new points leader. Alex, you take over our points lead here in the Hardy Cup Series, so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Huge shakeup, and our number 2 in points right now, believe it or not, is Jeffrey Herrick. And James Jones is in our third, and Dustin, after his 1 week suspension, gains 2 spots this week with a lot of the drivers not showing up. So huge shakeup um, with the field. So, and Frank Skimmerhorn, I gotta give our buddy Frank Skimmerhorn a shout out. He's now in the top 10 in points. So congratulations to Frank sitting in eighth. So a huge shakeup, and another huge shakeup next week in Dover. So Alex, are you ready for that?
I don't own Dover yet. I'm assuming we'll get that fixed this week. Yeah. So,
I mean, I'm
yeah, I
sure I'm
gotta.
sure all the guys, would be okay if you didn't show up.
I mean, yeah, I mean, the easiest way to win the championship is have the other guy not show up, right?
Absolutely, but no, it's
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what you can do the rest of the season. You got 2 weeks of our normal oval lefty turning, and then believe it or
Yep.
not, we're on to Mexico City, and it's definitely
Don't
going to
own
be
that
a
one either.
well, you got to get on that, because we're going to look forward to
Yeah.
seeing what you can do in Mexico City. You already got a couple guys eyeballing that top spot of the podium, to knock off the road course king.
Yeah.
So, amazing job for you, and yeah, me and Eli were just blown away by your pace. So, congratulations, and what a what a way to drive that thing.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And Eli, we're gonna wrap it up here from the Glen. You have any final words?
Yeah, that battle early on with the top two between Dustin and Alex was phenomenal. Unfortunately, at the end there, it was just one car, but earlier on there, the battles were really, really good.
Absolutely, and yeah, you nailed it on the head. Yeah, you just nailed it. I have no words. It was mind blowing to see the pace that these guys carried, and what a amazing road course race here. But that will do it for us here at Watkins Glen in the Hardy Cup Series. Congratulations to our top 5 finishers, and we will see you next week as we hit the high banks of our short track named Dover. So stay tuned for that. This has been a production of Wilkes Productions.